Hello, this is Rose Ford's Culture Babe, and this episode has been inspired by a friend of mine who is a digital artist. The other day we were talking, and she mentioned that she leveled up her Korean language because she also studies Korean. Going to Korea and visiting Asia in general is one of her dreams. So she's been studying for about a year now. And she mentioned that she has leveled up and she's not a complete beginner anymore. And I said, well, that's fantastic. And I really admire that you're able to decide for something and just show up regularly for such a long time. Because not everyone does that. And she started laughing and she said, I think I stick with things because I'm just too lazy to change to something else. And I think that's amazing because this is also something I want to talk about today. People like her, whether it's just their nature or if it's something they developed with time, people who are able to decide for something and just show up regularly are the people who will win in life. Some of us, and I am no exception, we have no problem changing from project to project. We have no problem to have several projects at the same time, and we really don't mind quitting if things don't feel right. And even though it can sometimes be the right decision, many cases, sticking with something longer is what will really get you where you want to be. Because eventually you will figure it out and eventually you will get to that goal that you had. Like in her case, it's being fluent in Korean or at least being able to watch drama without subtitles. I used to have a job once, it was in tech support. I would say I really wasn't suited very well for this position, but I did it regardless. And I remember I had this 3 week long training on all the products, and I really wasn't very happy with my situation. There were some things I understood, but then there were some things I really struggled with. And I remember the girl who was responsible for me one day, she just said, look, you're gonna be doing this job for 6 months, and after 6 months, you will know what you're doing. Because there is no way that after 6 months of everyday practice, you would not understand these products. And you know what? That really made me feel good. I had never realized such a thing before. But she was right. Of course, after 6 months, I wasn't a professional, but I knew what I was doing. I was much more confident and much more at ease with my job in general. Today, we live in a world where everything must be immediate. We are exposed to so much pressure from the media, from even our work, from our social circle, that everything must happen now, today, this week, or this month. If you have to wait for something in months, God forbid in years, we are outraged. We can't comprehend. You have to train for something for 1 year? Well, that's too long. No one wants to do that. We want to learn language in 3 months. We want to finish school in 2 years instead of four. We want to build meaningful relationship in 2 weeks. And we are upset when things like that don't happen. We want to be promoted after 6 months and have double the salary. We see everywhere on social media, especially young people showing us that they are making so much money and they are overnight success, and in 3 weeks you can be just like them. Well, guess what? You really can't. Can you become an overnight success? Yes, it's possible. Is it likely? No, it's really not. Because if it was, you know what would happen? We would see so many people in our own circle doing it. But you don't see that. All you see is a picture on your screen that is very likely not the full truth. But unfortunately, because of that, it really gets in our mind and we get conditioned to expect things to be easy. Like if life was ever easy. Like if things never took time. Just because we live in the era where technology is here to make everything faster, more convenient, doesn't mean that life got really easier. We are not saving time. We have all this technology, but we still don't have time for everything we want to do. How come? We have all this available, but still, people are not sure how to reach their goals. This friend of mine, she actually studied computer science, that's her major. And she started painting when she was at school. At the beginning, people will tell her, "Your art sucks." And she's laughing at it because really, when she looks back, she says it really wasn't great. But she also says, "You know what? But I decided I will be an artist." And so I stuck with it. I just kept practicing and kept learning. And I just knew that's what I want to do. She finished the school, she has her diploma. She likes to say that sometimes it's like her backup plan if ever anything happened, because as every artist, of course, she's anxious every day, worrying for her future. But she's been doing this for 10 years. Of course, she's great at this point. She has an amazing job where she gets to paint for an amazing company. But she didn't get here in 3 weeks. She didn't get here in 2 years. Sometimes she says she's upset when she sees the commercials of people promising people, "I will teach you how to be a great artist in 3 weeks. I will teach you how to paint in 2 weeks." Because that's not true. In 3 weeks, you will see progress if you practice every day. Of course you will. But you will not become an amazing artist. Just forget that. The thing here is, if you really want to reach your goal, if you really want to get good at something, if you want to build a business, if you want to build a good relationship, if you want to build anything that will last, you have to think in years instead of days. People who think in years instead of days or weeks or even months are again the ones who will be winning in life. These are the ones who will make it. This artist, sometimes I admire her career because I just think it's amazing. She's doing what she loves. And she says, "But you know what? I chose to be an artist, but I could have failed." And I tell her, "No, you're wrong. Because the only way that you would fail is if you had given up." So here's how this works. She's successful. She is where she is because she had never given up. Was she only going up during those last 10 years? Of course not. It's just simply impossible. Nothing only goes up. There's a process for everything. So at the beginning, we have a group of people who say they want to do something. And part of that group will never start, and at that point, they failed. If you never start, you fail automatically. So what's rest are people who actually start. So at the beginning is where everything is the most difficult. That's where you don't know what you're doing, you don't have enough information. If you don't have a mentor, someone to hold your hand, it's going to take you a lot of effort. It's going to take you a lot of time. It will be very frustrating and messy. So this is where other group of people gives up, and this is where other group of people fails because they gave up because it was difficult. Unfortunately, that's how it is at the beginning. Everything is difficult. But those who persevere and make it through the beginning start going up, slowly but surely. Now, they might get to the point where they rise quite a lot and things are good. They reach a peak. That's amazing. But no one can stay at the peak forever. Things will start going down. That's where the learning is. That's just a part of the process. So what happens next is that there is a group of people who, when they see that things are going downhill from the peak, they give up because they get scared. It's a new situation again. They don't know what's this. They don't know what to do in a situation like that. So instead of trying to figure it out, they give up. But those who didn't give up, those who just kept learning, those who kept looking for a way to get back on track, will find it. You will find it. And things will start looking good again. And that's how you start going back up. And it just keeps going like this. As long as you never give up, you will never fail. You will learn a lot. It might cost a lot. but it will give you much more in return. So I hope that this will inspire and motivate some of you to actually really stick with something you want to do or what you're already doing. Remember that the hardest part is to not give up. Everything else can be solved. Thank you for listening.